God's plan. Science and spirituality are one. In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The foundation of reality is God, which is divine consciousness, and the Word, which is vibrating light waves, energy. Consciousness, that which is divine, is the most subtle and pure energy. So subtle that it, at its purest, cannot be fully perceived by the physical reality itself. It is so pure, it is not fully fathomable, or fully realized by anything physical. To be physical, is the opposite of subtle, and the opposite of purest. So again, in the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. God, the divine, the most subtle pure energy, makes reality ex nihilo, which means out of nothing, through consciousness and vibrating light waves. Energy, light, is created into waves of vibration, through positive and negative force, which is oscillation. Oscillation is waveform energy that moves back and forth, or side to side, up and down. When energy waves are increased in quick repetition, they overlap, creating spheres of energy. When those spheres of energy increase in quick repetition, they create spheres within spheres. This is called the study of spheres. Those spheres within spheres create toroidal fields, circular fields of energy, that rotate into themselves like a donut pastry. Enough energy applied through those repetitions of spheres within spheres creates an atom, through density, with its nucleus in the center, and electrons that rotate around it. This is called particle physics. Slow and fast repetitions of particle waves, which is vibrating energy, collide and separate, creating the temperatures, hot and cold, due to friction, and lack of friction. Fast repetitions of energy waves create density, which becomes materials, gravity, and heat. Slow repetitions of energy waves create less density, which is the separation of energy, which is space, and cold. Combinations of specifically repeated energy waves, tuned vibrations if you will, are densely layered together at precise rotations, through slow and fast waves, friction and non-friction, hot and cold, creating the five elements, fire, air, earth, water, and ether, and combinations of such. So is created the physical reality. Solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. A high density of these energies and elements combined, again, creates gravity. Gravity creates the perception of time through physical location while in movement, due to the pull of density, which is the speed of the energy you are gravitationally pulled towards density with, and lack of. Reality is an ever-flowing, divine consciousness, of vibrationally created energy. As this infinitely massive divine energy, creation, flows and extends waveforms and accumulations, gravities of high and low frequencies, positive and negative, slow and fast, and hot and cold forces, group together, and separate magnetically, creating larger spheres within spheres of energy, and pocket into toroidal fields in outer space, creating galaxies. In each toroidal field of colossal electromagnetic construction, called galaxies, the elements combine and separate through seemingly random spherical, electromagnetic, and vibrational patterns, creating elements, stars, planets, phenomena, and such. Those planets, with the right combination of the five elements to sustain life, inhabit it. And so the divine, purest subtle vibrational energy, motions towards immanence, to create itself, within the perfect habitable space for consciousness to reside, and balance, its own positive and negative actions to become once more, purest subtle vibrational energy, divine. As above, so below. Hello, and welcome to my TED Talk. Consciousness and Divinization. The Fountain of Youth. As we know that reality is consciousness and vibration, we must understand how that vibrating energy becomes so subtle that it turns back into divine consciousness. As the physical reality is compacted by positive and negative energy vibrations, the energy can become more subtle and pure, by a rise in frequency. The lowest frequencies are those of that which the physical reality itself is made. Frequencies of the physical reality's elements and objects are densely packed natural frequencies, and are found by calculating any given element or object's oscillations upon a shift of gravitational equilibrium, applied to a specified constant, measured by newtons per meter. This calculates what can be understood visually as one wave, or waveform. The lowest resonant frequency, or wave, is called the fundamental, and all higher resonant frequencies are called overtones. All overtones are multiples of the fundamental frequency, a wave, and are called harmonics, which are waves. These natural frequencies are built up from the same divine subtle energy we have discovered to be atomic structures. Atomic structures are charged positively and negatively, when the fission process of uranium atomically combines protons and neutrons, along with electrons that rotate around them, forming an electromagnetic field due to the atomically opposing forces of positive and negative energies circling together. Again, spheres within spheres. As we know, all atoms have an electromagnetic field, or EMF, for short. We know that all objects are made up of atoms, which when combined make up a larger electromagnetic field. This is the same as our physical bodies. When naturally attuned through a perfected Fibonacci sequence of divine manifestation, the process by which a combination of the 5 elements creates the human body, the body is perfected, and stays healthy, all natural. This is perfect alchemy. The various resonating EMFs of the body harmonize at specific frequencies. This can easily be understood by human consciousness, and its ability to feel emotions. As recorded by neurologists and neuroscientists observing brainwave activity, emotions give off frequencies. Emotions are various energies that vibrate sensations in and around the body. Each emotion's vibration, or EMF, has a physical epicenter, where it is generated from, or felt. For example, here is a list of emotions and their epicenters of vibrations. Peace and tranquility are felt in the top of head and crown. Focus and clarity are felt in the forehead and the mind. Creativity and whimsicalness are felt in the throat. Love, sadness, and fear are felt in the center of the chest. Happiness and anger are felt in the stomach area. Sexual arousal is felt in the sexual organs. And anxiety and worry are felt in the bottom of the spine. As you can see, the most pleasant emotions and peaceful energies are generated higher up, physically, in the body. To feel these vibrations more tangibly, those centers have to be energized and flow naturally. Meaning the physical makeup of the human body has to be functioning at optimal homeostasis. Those areas have to be freed of any tension that would hold back the natural flow of energy through the body. This keeps those centers of energy properly energized, balanced, and tuned. This is the reason why the process of eating healthily, exercising, and stretching helps to keep the body, mind, and soul feeling right. This is yoga. Through constant stretching and positioning, the body releases tension and allows energy to flow freely into those centers of energy. This is how the chakras, energy centers, of the body, are understood and explained. The higher the vibrational energy in the body is, the more pleasant the emotional energy is. The more pleasant we become, the more peaceful we become, and the better we feel and think, generating a fountain of youth. This is why meditation practitioners focus on the mind. This energetic focus brings upon a state of tranquility, and also higher consciousness. This is also why high-level thinkers like Einstein, Tesla, Oppenheimer, Schrödinger, Heisenberg, etc., were able to perceive subtle energies. Their minds were always focused in a state of high consciousness. Now, through higher states of consciousness, the perception of the mind begins to open. We can then begin to perceive the veil of energy over the reality we normally see. The same phenomenon happens when we fall asleep at night. We enter into the recesses of the mind, or should I say, we open up to a fuller perception of reality. This is the dream state. In the dream state, you perceive a space in which you inhabit that looks real, sounds real, and can feel, smell, and taste real. This is because your consciousness can perceive the same senses, regardless of its attachment to the physical reality. Again, as we know, our consciousness is energy, a white light, jumping from one brain neuron to the next in a neural network. We are just perceiving the same senses, as a purer version of ourselves. We are experiencing reality as energy. We are no longer bound by our physical bodies, and can instead freely move through the quantum field of energy, in which our reality is made up. So while asleep, we experience the very same reality in which we inhabit physically, just now we are our subtle energy, and can perceptively interact through the non-physical. This same state of conscious lucidity can be achieved through meditation practices. Our consciousness generally resonates at 13 Hz and higher, although our brain waves can range from 1 to 90 Hz. These are as follows: delta, 1 to 4 Hz, theta, 4 to 8 Hz, alpha, 8 to 12 Hz, beta, 12 to 38 Hz, and gamma, 30 to 90 Hz. As we put ourselves into higher states of consciousness, these higher brain waves are experienced, speeding up our comprehension, expanding our perception, our consciousness, and our energy. We start to think outside the box. The reason it expands our energy is because energy is just that, it is energy. Energy is free-flowing, it can be bound by wires, or in this case neural pathways. However, due to the organic nature of neural pathways, energy does not always stay bound physically. This happens when the vibrational frequency of our consciousness rises up, and surpasses the vibrational resonance of the physical makeup of our bodies and brains, allowing us to disconnect, or unattach, from the body. Due to our reality being a whole web of energy, our consciousness's energy is already connected to the energy of reality itself. The only difference is that now we have placed our consciousness in a higher state that is more subtle, and now it can perceptively connect and maneuver through the subtle field of energy that we inhabit physically in our waking lives. Realizing that we and everything around us is one giant energy, one white light. This is the understanding of God's energy and eternal oneness. Here's the cool thing about understanding this whole: we are reality, the reality is us. Now you can be sure to understand that when your body, a vessel, is no longer capable of keeping you attached to the physical reality, you are still energy and still exist. Your consciousness is energy, which we will now call soul, will no longer be of the physical form. Depending on whether or not you fully recognize yourself as the eternal one white light energy, that God is, and that you are, at the time of death, you may end up with attachments to the physical reality of which you existed for so many years. These energetic attachments cause the soul to desire to be reborn. This is what the Buddhists call samsara. This is the cycle of birth and death. High-level meditators and practiced spiritual masters have kept a recollection of their travels through this energy web after death. They have passed on into this energy web, deciding to keep attachments in order to come back and teach what they know. This is the way of the Buddhist lamas. They have recollected and practiced this after death, traveling many times in a scientific manner, and have concluded that depending on the soul's deeds during life, you have a maximum of 150 years before re-entering into the physical world, being reborn. This can be much less if the individual is virtuous, and maintains a mindful life. This is the understanding of balancing karma. Again, higher consciousness can bring us to perceive the whole web of energy that is reality. It can even help us perceive those who have passed away, after their energy has left their physical bodies. Now, depending on how pure of mind one becomes, you can also resonate even higher with that of highly virtuous beings such as monks, spiritual masters, gurus, Buddhist masters, Buddhas, devas, and angels. Yes. You can visually see the divine and possibly communicate. Again, this is dependent on your own purity. P.S. Jesus is watching. So don't be bad. Some disclosure. As per the law of vibration, you don't want to resonate with lower energies as they are destructive. They only attract the same energy through the law of sympathetic vibration. They keep us in low vibration, which holds us back from our ability to resonate with higher emotions. When we resonate low, our feelings and our energy are also low, paving the way for destructive qualities. As per the universal energy of oneness, the more destructive we are as a society, the more we will sympathetically resonate that destruction and destroy ourselves, hamartia. This means that it is very easy for us to socially resonate and agree upon feelings of unrest, anger, and frustration. The more we resonate such feelings, the more likely we will take action to change those feelings. In recent years, this slippery slope has been displayed by the many public destructive issues we have as a society. The more that this occurs, the more likely the world at large will be to resonate destruction and take action to destroy. Since we know that we may have to return, it's needless to say, we need to remain constructive. Please understand, violence is ignorance. In order to keep ourselves from resonating with, and sympathetically creating more negativity, we have to uplift. Yes, over time those emotions can change. However, utilizing the spiritual teachings of traditional yoga, meditation, and the practice of austerities like mindfulness, cleanliness, etc., will help to keep us uplifted and resonating with the highest energies. These are constructive qualities and constructive energies. They are energetically positive. Be mindful, practicing religion is the easiest way to resonate with the highest, pure, energies. The practices of achieving higher states of consciousness and reaching divinity are as follows. Disciplined. Eating natural and healthy foods, cleanliness, listening to religious music of your religious choice, Gregorian chants, etc., reading of divine literature, mindfulness, virtuousness. Yoga, traditional is best, meditation, prayer, visiting places of holy worship, churches, temples, synagogues, mosques, monasteries, etc., visiting those same places during a religious gathering. And, only hanging out with people that have the same mindset. Try to stay away from resonating with lesser energies, unless you have been trained to protect yourself energetically, spiritually, by a guru or spiritual master. Through these disciplines, your consciousness will resonate with your divine self, and you will begin to evolve your consciousness back to God. Keeping a fountain of youth. This is the way. Be worthy. No physical energy that does not have consciousness can evolve into divinity. The physical reality is already a divine creation, it's just diluted divine energy, made so that we can stumble around till we remember what our consciousness is. And that we chose God's plan. To be divine with God. This is why God's plan is so beautiful. Begin your renaissance, and come back to heaven.